let's talk about the 7 rules that we've seen result in, hundreds of millions of dollars of sales through the Amazon seller tribe, over hundreds of people. We talk about this all the time, but we have 130 members in the Amazon seller tribe who are $1 million sellers, which still, we say it every time because every time I hear it, it sounds a little far-fetched, but that's how many $1 million sellers we have there. So I like to keep repeating it. And we kind of see this tribe principles that that most members start to take on. And I think it's resulted in it. So Andy, let's run through these 7, kind of break down what they mean to you. And I think the first one of the 7 rules is sometimes when it comes to selling on Amazon, you just have to let it go. Gonna make me think of my Frozen days when I was selling thousands of dollars of Frozen dolls, that Let It Go song. But you have to let it go sometimes. What does that mean to you when it comes to Amazon principles?
Sure. In sports terms, if you've heard a quarterback, right, that maybe makes an interception, a basketball player that, takes a shot and misses it, what you want to have is a short memory for those failures. Because if you dwell on them, they very likely can lead you to more failures. And so when it comes to business, when it comes to selling on Amazon, right, a lot of times we're in an inventory-based business. And so you have to make inventory purchases that, hopefully you're buying low and that you're going to sell for higher, right? So you're going to have that margin. Well, at times you are going to make mistakes. Nate, I know that you've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. We've made mistakes together. And sometimes those mistakes can be extremely painful. And if you don't let that go, it will really cause you to hesitate, right, in the future when those potential buys come before you. And so the business we're in, really life, right, is risky. So you just got to kind of know that. You got to be okay with it. That life is risky. Business is risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. Life is so risky that one day you are going to die. You're not going to make it, until you're 150, right? Business is the same way. When you make those wrong purchasing decisions, and I'll keep it at that because, again, we're in an inventory-based business, you have to be able to wash it away and not allow that bad decision to potentially affect when you see another opportunity come along. Because if you do that, you're never going to grow.
I'll give one just example. I've talked about it before, but my very first product that I ever tried to import from China back in 2015 was a very, in hindsight, stupid like bath pillow product that was junk. And I imported it. And before I actually even received that, I placed an deposit on my second product. So I was pretty aggressive, in hindsight, really. Most people probably wouldn't do that. And I don't know if I'd recommend doing that your first time. And so I placed that deposit, and then I got the bath pill and I realized it wasn't a great product. It wasn't selling well. And so I had already placed the deposit though on my second one. And in hindsight, it was good that I had, because I probably would have been gun shy, but I had to just let it go, the first bad product. And that second product had issues later that I've talked about, but it was a success overall, where it really got me to see the potential of private label. And I think I got under a 5,000 BSR in home and kitchen for 2 months in a row for that second product that I brought in. So it ended up having problems later that resulted in my garage being full of them that I've talked about before. But at first, I started to believe in the concept of it all. So I had to let it go. And sometimes you just have to let go a bad buy or a bad decision, like you talked about. All right. Number 2 is, so first is you have to let it go. Number 2 is you have to ignore them. And a lot of times that's talking about the doubters, the haters, whatever you want to call it. So talk to us about what that's meant for you selling online.
Yeah, so it really depends on where you're at in life. For me, 10 years ago, I was not an entrepreneur, never had my own business, had always worked for a corporation or a company. And so when I started to share hey, look, I'm thinking about going full-time selling on Amazon, a lot of people looked at me sideways, right? And the biggest question you always get asked, well, what about health insurance? And, that's probably the number one concern, right? That folks who are working for a company or corporation, when you tell them, hey, you're going to begin your own business, what about health insurance? And so, for me, right, and for you, if you're listening to this, and if you haven't gone full time, like a lot of our sellers in the Amazon Seller Tribe who have gone through our Tribe 8 coaching, which again, Nate shared at the beginning, it is open right now. We only open it 2 times a year. It's going to close August 15th, and then we will not open it again for another 6 months. So if you're interested in selling on Amazon, you need to go check that out. Well, for those folks, right, that were in my head at that time, I really had to ignore them. I had to kind of put them out because I had a vision. I saw what other people were doing in the Amazon seller space, and I was willing to take that risk. Now, had I listened to them, I would never be at the level of success where I am right now financially. And I would probably still be working for the man, earning a paycheck. And there is no way I would have the same money that I currently have, right, in my bank account, as well as, the business that we have together humming along at the level that it's at. And so there is a sense where you have to ignore people when it comes to that.